Good afternoon, everyone. All of us at IDEA would like to extend a warm welcome to our parents, families, and friends. We are delighted you have joined us today to validate and celebrate the dreamers, designers, and doers of our very first graduating class of the Tacoma School of Industrial Design, Engineering, and Art, the class of 2020. While we have gathered to recognize the achievements of a cohort that will be forever remembered in history, we also honor your families and champions who less than 4 short years ago supported your desire to pursue your passions and trusted in our ability to prepare you for the journey beyond high school. Though we may not yet have had a proper goodbye, the memories you've made will last a lifetime. Do you remember the beginning? Stop for a second and remember the halls of Park Avenue when it was just you and a small handful of the staff here to see you off today. Change was inevitable, and the road ahead wasn't always easy. But your commitment to our school pillars, community, empathy, thinking, and balance positioned you to overcome those challenges and lead the way for those who came afterward. Together, you laid a foundation for future generations of students who will choose to pursue their passions with IDEA. Today's ceremony is as unique as the class it celebrates, and we will not let the distance sour the sentiment. Thank you once again to everyone who has tuned in from wherever you are to watch as we graduate each of these wonderful young people whose continued contributions will undoubtedly change the world in which we live. We hope that the IDEA spirit fills your home with a ruckus of cheering and applause to match. This is a joyous occasion, and let's keep it going. Please rise for the national anthem performed by our partner school choirs.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air,
Hello, IDEA Class of 2020 and friends and family. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Calvin, or Cal Beardample. See, most people loathe public speaking, but I find that I really enjoy it. And I've been told by people, and not just by my parents, that I'm pretty good at it. I've had the chance to speak on behalf of my classmates junior and senior year as president of ASB and as the main camp MC. I've even had the chance to represent my classmates and teachers by speaking in front of the NEA Teachers Rally in 2018. I've been lucky enough to speak to and for my class on all of these occasions, but it is my biggest honor to address you here today during the commencement for the first ever graduating class of IDEA High School. When preparing this speech, I spent a lot of time thinking about the things that unite our class. I thought about how we've all had such a unique high school experience, and I tried my best to articulate what that was like. The main thing that stuck out to me was the growth that each student has made over these past 4 years. I entered IDEA at a whopping 5'4" 3/4 inches tall, and I'm leaving at a whole 5'5". But seriously, some of my classmates are unrecognizable from their freshman year selves. They've had their beliefs changed, they've gotten new friends, different styles, and most importantly, they've learned and grown. Our school itself has done its fair share of growing too. When I went to IDEA for the first time ever, before the school year started, I remember that there was no furniture, not even desks and chairs, let alone tools and computers. We slowly accumulated more by building some of our own tables and filling the school with those IKEA stools. I can recognize them anywhere now. Freshman year, there were well over 100 of us, and everyone had the exact same classes, just on a rotation. We were all doing the exact same projects and work and had the same group of students in each of our 8 classes. The majority of our classes fit neatly into one hallway, and the 3rd floor was this mysterious place everyone wanted to go. We were extremely close-knit freshman year, as there was no one else besides our teachers and staff for us to interact with. We joked around, we talked a lot, and we got into a lot of trouble. As you can imagine, a bunch of freshmen with no peer pressure to not be typical freshmen would. We were the guinea pigs, as our teachers tried different methods of teaching. They mainly tried to wrangle us down into our seats and hold our attention for more than 2 minutes. By talking to the current freshmen, seems like that hasn't changed. Sophomore year, we welcomed our new title and should have welcomed in the new freshmen in a similar light. This was a transition year, but it wasn't as smooth of a transition as we thought. Lots of us now wish that the new freshmen would just leave, so it could be like the first year again, and less crowded. Yes, we actually thought that just 200 students was crowded. In the second year of IDEA, we had new teachers and adjuncts, and we were now all taking different courses, which meant our work was not identical. For the first time, we had new students in our classes with us. It was also the first time I realized how much the impact of an older student meant to their younger peers. While I wasn't officially an upperclassman, I still felt a push to act as a role model for the freshmen. As one of the oldest students in my own grade, I felt a similar push to be a role model for my class as well. Junior year, we again had a whole new class of freshmen and even more teachers and new responsibilities, just as I had felt before. There were more ideas of leadership, harder workloads, new responsibilities, and expectations. As we were officially upperclassmen, we talked about SATs in college and next steps and scholarships, and yes, we talked about graduation. Even though graduation was only getting closer, it still seemed far off and unreal. Senior year now welcomed the new normal of IDEA. There was no longer a missing class year, and our hallways were filled to the brim. We utilized every classroom, portable, and parking space, and reminisced on how we took for granted those days when we all had the same 8 classes. Each of us had now done our part to help build the school from the ground up, as there are many roles to fill in the past 3 years. Now, we're all focusing on our next step after high school. We're all reminded how important and symbolic this very real day of graduation was. Unfortunately, our school year was cut short by COVID-19. While we may have to be apart for the safety of us all today, we're still together on our day of graduation. We did not have a traditional last semester of high school, but none of our other semesters were that traditional either. We spent late nights finishing essays, brainstorming projects, eating lunch on the field, and getting our teachers to share stories so that the lessons were shorter. We've had tough conversations, gotten new friends, forgotten which classes we had that day, and explained our school to countless people. We played carpet ball at camp. We won and we lost tug of war at the all-school barbecue. We had MPG potlucks, and we cried at our senior camp bonfire. Idea's class of 2020 has many ups and downs, inside and outside of the classroom. Still, we have learned and grown through times of uncertainty more than once in our life, and that includes now. When I look back at my time at IDEA, I can guarantee you that my first thought won't be my graduation, even if it had been in person. I'll think about my friends. I'll think about my teachers, what I went through, how I changed, and how I grew. I'll think about all the fun times and bad times alike, and I'll reminisce. Wherever you end up next year, I hope that you use the knowledge that you gained at IDEA, inside and outside of the classroom, and I hope that you continue to learn and grow. Thank you to the staff and students of IDEA for giving me an unforgettable 4 years. And congratulations to the first ever graduating class of IDEA High School, the class of 2020!
Well, so me and Jake were building surfboards, and then we heard from Ben that he was talking with Jason, and Jason said that he could help us design better boards.
Yeah, and we're already making boards, and we know that he's the engineer who knows like all these weird programs that could help our boards. So we met with him and talked about it, and now we're working together to make our boards better.
I got involved with this project through just my connection with Ben, who's the mentor, and I've known about their work and their interest in building boards. And I always look for opportunities to be able to take things that are relevant and that are maybe going to be interesting, not just interesting, but something maybe that the students would be passionate about, and look for ways to work on projects that might be able to become contagious in the sense that what we do that really satisfies the needs of a couple of students for very specific things, we might find good content to be able to help introduce those maybe next year in a freshman class or something like that.
After the first boards, we realized, oh, this is something that we really enjoy doing at this school right now. We have the materials to do that, or well, we're buying our materials, but we have a shop space to do it. So we were like, well, we're having so much fun doing it, and we're going to keep building them anyways. We might as well try to make some money to support it, so we can keep building.
Their origin story is quite beautiful for me to see. To be honest, when I first started with them their freshman year, they were still just trying to find their way, trying to find where they fit in, and this kind of just exploded from there.
I mean, I'm happy to see where I've came. Like, I've grown a lot, and I can see a lot of opportunities in my horizon. And I think if I was doing what I was doing in freshman year, in that mindset, I felt like I was doing fine and everything was going to be okay. But now looking at that with my new mindset, I'm like, it wasn't going to be good. So being here now, I'm really happy that I am where I am, and it worked out.
Jake and Henry's passion for building surfboards and also being connected to skateboarding and helped them be connected with our school in a powerful way because they're connected with their environment. I'm also a client myself, so I've purchased one of their very first stand-up paddle boards that is designed to be able to surf as well.
I want this board company. I always want that to be a thing. Like I love surfing, and I love building. And whether I'm making a living off of it or not, I'm going to continue to do it. I want to find a way to do that. I don't care if I'm making money off of it. I'm going to do it anyways.
Hello, first graduating class of IDEA High School, class of 2020. How are y'all feeling? That's good to hear. I have my speech written down for y'all. I was hoping to be able to memorize it, but I didn't have the time. But even though it's written down, this is all like from the heart. This took a while for me to write, and like a while for me to recite without crying. So like, I'm proud. Here we go. Hi, Idea family and class of 2020. Thank you for joining me over the screen. I can't even begin to describe how happy it makes me that my favorite group of people in the whole world thought that I would be a good voice to speak for our class. I can't even begin to imagine how cool I think that is, so, or fathom it, or nothing can describe how cool I think that is, so, thank you all. This whole quarantine has been so scary and weird and overall just hard. And I'm not just speaking for myself. I know y'all are going through it too. But out of all of this mess, I've realized that I don't need a giant graduation party. I don't need a grand ceremony. I don't even need to walk a stage. If I could have one thing out of all of this, it would be to be able to see all of my Idea family, staff, students, everyone. I miss y'all pretty little faces, and I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm not sad that I have to do this over a screen, but even though things are weird, I'm even happier that we did it. We really did it, y'all. We really did it. We've talked about it for 3 years. This is the 4th year. Like, we really did it, and I'm sidetracking, but we did it. After years of talking about our futures together, the years have come and gone way faster than I could even imagine. Which reminds me, I think a common theme within our class is hearing people miss freshman year, including myself. And I've heard so many of our seniors reminisce on our first year together. Things were so different, and we collectively were so fresh and scared and excited for all that was to come our way. And now as seniors, we all have the gift of sharing those memories together. All the memories that we miss so much, we all got to experience them as one. We were all there. We were all part of this ginormous, hectic, intense, beautiful puzzle. But just because the puzzle is done does not mean that we have to take it apart. As corny as that sounds, every memory we've collected as Idea's first class will always stay with me. Those memories are burned into every corner, staircase, piece of playground equipment, and table, and will remain there. I feel like we all have an understanding for one another, and I've never had that before, so thank you all. Every single student in the class of 2020 and every staff member along the way. I know I'm going to see a lot of you after graduation, whether that be because we stayed in touch or because y'all will be out in the world doing amazing things, and there's no way I'm not going to keep both of my eyes peeled out for y'all. There is no way. And that's just one more thing that sets you guys apart. You're special. Too special for this world. Trust me. Normal people don't get it, and they won't get it. They'll never understand how one school could be so amazing. But y'all are not normal. Y'all are indescribable. You guys are all amazing human beings. And I wouldn't trade anything in this world for our memories together. Thank you all. I love you all. Stay safe. I'll see you when all of this is over.
Welcome, class of 2020, and all of your family and friends that are here to celebrate your success. For the past 4 years, you have all embarked on a journey as the very first graduating class of the School of Industrial Design, Engineering, and Art. You have been called pioneers, trailblazers, guinea pigs, perpetual seniors, perpetual freshmen, and experimenters. 4 times now, you have made it from camp in August to microterm in June. You have been through 8 mini-terms and microterms, 8 student-led conferences, 108 mentor groups on Friday, 76 A&A classes on Friday afternoons. Most of you have interned at a local business, and some of you have even traveled across the world on a service and study tour, started your own company, or mentored middle or grade school students through Propel or First Look. You have started traditions that will be carried on for years, like Design Showcase and Ultimate Friday. You have built robots and eco-cars, intelligent circuits and egg-drop vessels, and of course, tables. You have built so many tables. But most of all, you have taken risks. You have each at some point stepped out from what was comfortable and easy and pushed yourself to try something new, to consider solving a problem from a different perspective, to attempt something maybe you didn't think you could accomplish. Simply by taking a risk on being the pioneer class for IDEA, you have set yourselves apart from other teenagers as agents of change, as people who don't necessarily see the world for what it is, but what it could be. I want you to think back for a minute on any moment over the last 4 years that is specifically stuck in your memory. It might be a time in Peter's circuit design class freshman year, or Blake's wood studio class sophomore year. It might be building skate ramps with Ben in the parking lot, or planting a garden with Moffat on a sunny afternoon. Maybe it was that staff student basketball game from a mentor barbecue, or a day of caring cleaning up trash at Wapato Park. Any of these moments are memorable and captured in things like yearbooks and promotional videos. What might not make your top 10 memories list, at least right away, are the late nights you spent finishing a project, or the hours you spent as a bridge in a class helping someone else who was struggling. The day-to-day sacrifices and daily commitments you make often go unnoticed, but are quite often the most important memories to hold on to because they make the biggest difference in the end. When I think about IDEA's first class, I don't want us to forget the senior who showed up at 7 a.m. every Monday and Wednesday with his mom to offer tutoring to anyone who needed help, or the daily short conversations many students had with Steve in the office before school. I think about the Saturdays that some of you showed up every spring to welcome the incoming classes for First Look, and the days during summer you met at school to plan for Camp Showcase the following fall. I think about that random day in February when a group of you met at lunch in Ben's room to talk about how to make our school a more welcoming place for girls, and how showing up every Saturday for 2 months in the spring would open the door to a group of young girls in middle school to experience project-based learning in STEM. I'll remember a mural painted poorly the first time and cleaned up and repainted several times over until it better reflected the kind of school we all wanted to build together. I'll remember the spot on any random Wednesday and the hours spent in tech club on Friday afternoons trying to get an LED wall to power up. The truth is, it's easy to remember the big moments, the yearbook moments, but it's arguably more important to remember the day-to-day commitments that have made IDEA a reality for each of you. These common everyday experiences that we all tend to forget are what lead to the greatest growth, both as a school and as individuals. Try and remember that these moments matter just as much as the yearbook moments. There's been a lot asked of you over the last 4 years. We've asked you to build empathy for your peers in your own class and begin to establish a community for the classes coming up behind you. We have asked you to think deeply about what it means to study engineering and design. And we've asked you to be patient as the balance of the classes and experiences being offered to you have shifted year after year, from modern dance to welding, from programming Arduinos to reading Grapes of Wrath. We have asked you to take a century-old elementary school building in South Tacoma and slowly transform it into a product realization lab, a bike shop, a beehive, and a garden, a permeable pavement experiment, and a coffee shop. In just 4 short years, you have physically transformed a blank canvas into a school of industrial design, engineering, and art. However, we have one more thing to ask of you. We have the opportunity today to hear from someone who saw a need in the world and took action. Natalie Rusk is the co-founder of the Computer Clubhouse, a nationwide network of over 100 clubhouses in 18 countries dedicated to teaching kids from underserved communities how to explore their passions in technology and media. After studying at some of the country's most prestigious institutions like Brown and Harvard, she co-designed Scratch, a coding language designed specifically for students, and currently works in the lifelong kindergarten group at the Media Lab at MIT. Ms. Rusk is no stranger to risk and opportunity. She has dedicated her life to exploring ways to broaden the community of people that develop a vision for the future of technology, not restrict it to the people who just look and think like her. What we want to ask each of you today is to look for a problem to solve in the world and to take action. Wherever you go after IDEA, whether it's a 4-year college, a community college, the military, starting your own business, or working full-time, please never stop looking for problems to solve, and don't be afraid to take a risk when you see an opportunity. How will you take the opportunities and experiences you've had at IDEA and use them to open the door to more opportunities to help others? That is the problem we're solving. Thank you, IDEA Class of 2020, and thank you for taking a risk on us.
Congratulations, IDEA Class of 2020. I was really honored when Ms. Trapp asked me to speak to you, the first graduating class of IDEA. I'm Natalie Rusk. This is where I work with Ms. Trapp at the MIT Media Lab, the Lifelong Kindergarten Group. I really hope you'll get a chance to come visit us sometime. We'll show you around, and I'd love to hear about whatever you're working on. And we thought we'd show you a couple of video clips to see the lab in action, hear from some of the people that we work with, and then meet you back here.
In my work, I combine arts and crafts with electronics to create artistic, expressive pieces.
The Cityscope platform was developed to allow people to engage with urban planning.
This is the first device ever to make it easier for people to walk.
The researchers and students here at the Media Lab, they're constantly experimenting, trying new things, building complex structures from simpler parts. They're doing it in a Lego spirit. My own group is called the Lifelong Kindergarten Group, where we focus on designing new technologies and activities to engage people in creative learning experiences.
One of the things that we always talk about is we want to solve big challenges and big problems, and in order to do that, you have to be innovative. And I think to be innovative, you need people who are sort of not afraid to try new things, make mistakes.
So that gives you some sense of the kind of work going on here. You heard from Champika and others about the process of working on projects and experimenting. And I know that that's a very similar process that you've worked on as you've developed projects during your time at IDEA. One of the things that I do at the lab is help in designing materials and the programming language Scratch. From the beginning, I was involved in the design of it. And I know Ms. Trapp tried it when it was in its very early days before it ever launched, giving feedback. Here it is, the website today. It's actually Scratch Day. It's the 13th anniversary of Scratch launching. There's a variety of things. It's always fun for me to see people of all ages from around the world sharing different ideas and things they've created. I know a lot of you have used that as well as other tools. Here's Ms. Trapp, featured on MIT News, both for her work and research as a graduate student, as well as her work with all of you at IDEA, starting an innovative school that you are the first graduating class of. I wanted to share a little bit just of my path, how I got to Scratch. I had no idea that this kind of job existed. When I graduated from high school, I actually had never used a computer with a screen before. So it was all really new to me, and I wasn't sure. I took a couple computer classes, but people questioned. There weren't many young women in the class, and they wondered, why are you taking this? It's not your major. I was majoring in Chinese language. But I was just curious. And I was just thinking about how you just never know where these things are going to go. As a kid, I played with Lego. I never knew that that could be useful for me someday as I get to work with people from Lego and leading workshops and making materials around programmable Lego. So I just want to share this image as an idea of sometimes you know, some interest that you pick up or something you do, you're not sure where you're going to use it, but it might come in handy both for helping someone, just as something that enriches your life, and as something that potentially is something that you'll end up using where you never know. That, like those computer science classes that I took just because I was curious about to make a project, and that it ended up helping me form the basis of my work in the future. So this is actually my first job. Well, actually my first job was teaching English in Taiwan. And then after that, I got to work at a museum called the Computer Museum, and I helped with the exhibit and the educational materials around this exhibit called the Walkthrough Computer, which was a giant computer that you could walk inside of. At that first job is when I started the first computer clubhouse. And that really started because of a need that I saw. There were children coming in who wanted to be using the programmable Lego, and we had no space. So we started a center, and it wasn't easy. And at first I thought that this isn't going to work at all. But little did I know that that initial start led to this whole network around the world of clubhouses, and is what led me to get to meet Ms. Trapp. You might see her down there. That was when she was a coordinator leading a clubhouse in Tacoma. These are clubhouses around the world. My work there at the Computer Museum then led me to work at a museum in Minnesota, the Science Museum in Minnesota. And part of that work, I got to go to archaeology site and meet and learn about how archaeologists have come from all different backgrounds. And some of them are artists, some of them were working with technology, some were science. And that kind of background that all of you have developed that goes across all those disciplines, where you're making projects that integrate art, design, technology, science, is really exciting and will serve you well. Another thing I got to do is my work with museums was to go with some educators. We took them to see, and I got to see for the first time, the migration of monarch butterflies that fly thousands of miles from up in Canada through the US to Mexico. More recently in my work at MIT, I get to meet with educators around the world. We got to go to India. This is a great college if you ever get a chance to connect with people there. I was thinking how the innovative approach that you have at IDEA fits really well with the innovation that happens at this Institute of Art, Design, and Technology. I got to also go to other places like South Africa, where I got to meet educators from all around Africa at this Africa Play Conference. It's talking about the value of play for learning. This is me talking to people in the Ministry of Education in Turkey, demonstrating Scratch and watering flowers virtually. I thought to share this slide. I was thinking of you when I was looking at the World Economic Forum is talking about what are the skills that are needed for success now and into the future, given the changes in technology in our world. And these were the four, and I was thinking about all of you have this foundation, this amazing foundation from IDEA that really fits with what people need for work in the future. Global citizenship skills, being able to work within your community and beyond, having an awareness and playing an active role. Innovation and creativity skills, the way that you've been developing projects, your use of technology, those technology skills. You have this foundation across a variety of tools that then you can just continue to build on. And then they put this at the bottom, but I think it's the most important, interpersonal skills, those connections, the ability to communicate, to present your ideas in written form and in spoken form, but also really just, I noticed it says empathy. I know that's one of the core values at IDEA that you've developed. And this empathy is for other people and their needs, as well as empathy for yourself, treating yourself well, understanding that just because you're feeling bad one day doesn't say anything about you. Feelings are just signals. That's another thing that I actually went on to go back to study, was more about emotions and the kinds of ways that we can use our emotions in constructive ways. So I just wanted to say that when I was thinking of what I wanted to say to you, it was really just that respect that, again, that Ms. Trapp has spoken about your work, your process, your abilities, your potential, what you've already contributed locally and to your community and beyond. And I'm really honored to be able to speak to you, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the different ways that you're going to continue to contribute within your own community and the global community. So thank you very much, and congratulations.
For years I've been held back like I wouldn't make it. I'm trying to prove their assumptions mistaken, but no one will leave me alone just to take in. And now they all turn back the moment I need them. Try to work it out alone, thinking that music just ain't where I belong. If I keep on going, I'll be living life unknown. There might be a different place for me, but when I'm on the mic, I'm at home. Years I've been held back.
Like it's grade school and I'm that fast. See, I'm always running, but I'm doing laps. Not going forward when I'm on a track. When they climb the mountain, they all fall back. And they hit the dirt, they don't call back. Cause they all give up like they don't want that. And it's sad to see, cause it weren't that bad. Man, I can't tell you how many times I climbed to the top just to fall from the zone. But every single time I'll always to the throne, I did it all on my own. So every single time that I crash to the ground, I'd relearn all that I know. Now every single time that I start to climb, I'm just told that I should just go. I've been saving up to build a studio, I drop 3K to record at home. Just spend my time going off the dome in a crowd of people going toe to toe. It was cutthroat, now I'm blood soaked like that one note that I once wrote. Now my time is wasted, I was trying to make it in a tugboat, but it don't float cause
for years I've been held back like I wouldn't make it. I'm trying to prove their assumptions mistaken, but no one will leave me alone just to take in. And now they all turn back the moment I need them. Try to work it out alone, thinking that music just ain't where I belong. If I keep on going, I'll be living life unknown. There might be a different place for me, but when I'm on the mic, I'm at home. Try to work it out alone,
but it wasn't worth it, wasting my time trying to make it perfect. Now all the rhymes just seem like a burden. Is this where I die? No, I'm not so certain. Trying to find my place, even heard it when I'm on the mic and it feels so right, like I'm turning the bow before the curtain. I admit that lately I've been feeling pretty weak. With the music I've been working on it steadily, and now the weight of will I make it is gaining heavily. So now I gotta risk it. If I fall, it's temporary, cause I'm a blow in a minute. I'm taking so when I finish going to diminish anybody trying to keep me out again. So I'm spinning really fast. I wanna break through my limits and kill a syllables. In a digits per second. I was afraid that when I went up, I was going to hear critics. Everybody was a critic to everything I was spitting. I was getting a little nervous. I admit it, but I did it. So forget if you ever try to stop where I'm headed.
For years I've been held back like I wouldn't make it. I'm trying to prove their assumptions mistaken, but no one will leave me alone just to take in. And now they all turn back the moment I need them. Try to work it out alone, thinking that music just ain't where I belong. If I keep on going, I'll be living life unknown. And there might be a different place for me, but when I'm on the mic, I'm at home. For years I've been held back like I wouldn't make it. I'm trying to prove their assumptions mistaken, but no one will leave me alone just to take in. And now they all turn back the moment I need them. Try to work it out alone, thinking that music just ain't where I belong. If I keep on going, I'll be living life unknown. There might be a different place for me, but when I'm on the mic, I'm at home. When I'm on the mic, I'm at home.
By the authority vested in me by the state of Washington, I certify that the class of 2020 of the School of Industrial Design, Engineering, and Art has met the requirements as stipulated by the state of Washington and Tacoma School District Number 10, which would entitle them to a diploma. I hereby present the class of 2020 to the Superintendent of Tacoma Public Schools, Carla Santorno.
2020 graduates, we are so proud of you, and we won't ever forget you. You have proven that you can handle adversity, overcome obstacles, and proceed with grace. I am confident that you will forever invent, innovate, and make our world a better place. Thank you. And now, with the assurances of co-directors John Kettler, Zach Varnell, and Kainwa Higgins, that the Industrial Design, Engineering, and Art class of 2020 has met the requirements for graduation, it is my pleasure to present the class of 2020 to School Board President Scott Hines for graduation. Congratulations.
Hello, IDEA class of 2020. I'm very excited to be with you today on your graduation day. I know we're all disappointed that we can't be together in person to celebrate. This unprecedented public health crisis requires alternative methods, and I think this is the safest option for your family and for you and for the Tacoma community. But that doesn't take away from all that you've accomplished in the last 4 years. And let's stop today and really appreciate those that have helped you get to this place, your family, your teachers, your friends, the community. It's quite an accomplishment, and you've endured a lot, and we're all very proud of you. So congratulations. I'm confident we'll be able to be together again soon. But for today, let's just stop and enjoy the moment. With the assurance from the superintendent that you've met the minimum requirements for graduation, and by the power vested in me by the state of Washington, and on behalf of my colleagues on the Tacoma School Board, I pronounce the IDEA Class of 2020 graduated. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Idea Class of 2020. Now there is one thing we need to do to make this whole thing official. Graduates, please rise and take the tassel on your cap in your right hand. And join me as we symbolize your transition from high school to life beyond by moving it to the left. Congratulations, it's official. This is the part where you throw your cap. Thank you everyone for taking the time to join us here today to celebrate this one-of-a-kind class. We could not be prouder of what they've come to accomplish or more excited to see what lies ahead of them. Thank you, stay safe, and good night.